if our chairman, Comer, does not want to have very real conversations about these threats that are being presented for all American people because of the conflicts of interest that Elon has. One of the things that people did not talk about a lot in that continuing resolution that Elon blew up, part of it was really about him. It had nothing to do with additional monies being shelled out anywhere. It had everything to do with disallowing him from engaging in some of the investments that we believe that he is trying to do as it relates to China. We know that we have seen continual aggression coming from China. We know that Russia is not necessarily our best friend, regardless of the fact that Trump doesn't recognize this. And so with him sitting in these rooms, with him not necessarily being put into a position where he has to be Senate confirmed, with him being able to actually basically puppeteer the incoming president and having his own individual interests, whether we're talking about the contracts that he's looking for, those defense contracts, those federal dollars, I'm sure those are not the ones that he's going to seek to cut. We really need to make sure that we are highlighting this for the American people and doing everything that we can, even if it means that we've got to go to Trump's Supreme Court and try to get them to do what they are supposed to do, which is to follow precedents and follow the law and follow the Constitution.
I want to play a portion of an interview that aired today with my colleagues on the weekend, and retired Lieutenant General Russell Honore, who was making the case as to why Musk is, in fact, a national security risk, particularly with respect to ties in China. We'll talk on the other side of this. Take a listen.
This might be the only time I agree with Steve Bannon. He has questioned Musk's influence and his capability and his connection with the foreign leaders. Musk has conversations with Chinese president, with the Russian president. He's got an enormous amount of influence. I guess that's what comes with being the richest man in the world.
Do you agree with that? Is, in fact, Elon Musk, or should he be seen as a national security risk?
He absolutely should be. I mean, it's been laid out. But this is a matter of really Americans deciding that they're going to stand up and say something, right? We know that when it comes to MAGA and when it comes to Trump, they believe that they have a mandate. But exactly what that mandate is, I don't know, because, he has made it clear that he's like, well, I don't know if I can really get the cost of food down. Well, I can tell you that his base needs to be loud about the fact that they want to be safe in this country. And I need people not to take it for granted that we do have oceans on the east and the west coast of us that are actually helpful to us. It's water that helps us. But with Musk and Trump talking about Canada and talking about Mexico and talking about expanding the United States, if our chairman Comer does not.
Jasmine Crockett, Democrat of Texas, Kathy Amon, and Tim are all still with us. Congresswoman, I saw that your colleague, Democratic Congressman Jared Moskowitz, is the first Democrat to join the House Doge caucus, says he's open to having conversations. What is your openness to both the idea of the stated mission of the Elon Musk, Vivek Ramaswamy caucus or committee to cut government spending, and the obvious vagueness of where exactly they'll target those cuts?
Listen, God bless Jared Moskowitz. He's definitely a bigger fan than I am. But, here's the deal. I am all for making sure that we are spending taxpayer dollars in a very responsible way. And the way that we define responsible is maybe a little different, right? We know that Ramaswamy wants to cut 75% of our federal workforce. I don't think that that's responsible. And here's the reality. We have nothing but billionaires that have been appointed to hopefully make good decisions for us everyday working families. I don't know how that's going to work out, but we will see. But why isn't that we're having a conversation about what it takes to actually bring in more revenue, right? And what it would look like is that these people that have now been put into position or have been at least put up to be put into position, maybe they should start paying their fair share. We can start right there. instead of looking for cuts to things such as PBS, or looking for cuts to things such as SNAP benefits, or looking to make sure that we cut down on the workforce for Social Security, or maybe even cutting back on Social Security. Maybe we should start with making sure that we have more income coming in. And I can guarantee you, Elon Musk has a few extra dollars that he could lend to help this country out.
I mean, he is, it always sounds like a line in a beer commercial, but he is the world's richest man. But he also has a lot of conflict with the federal government, where he now has this massive responsibility. This is reporting from the New York Times. Quote, Mr. Musk's rocket company, SpaceX, effectively dictates NASA's rocket launch schedule. The Defense Department relies on him to get most of its satellites to orbit. His companies were promised $3 billion across 100 different contracts last year with 17 federal agencies. His entanglements with federal regulators are also numerous and adversarial. His companies have been targeted in at least 20 recent investigations or reviews, including over the safety of his Tesla cars and the environmental damage caused by his rockets. That's reporting in the New York Times, I think, before this appointment was made. What are your thoughts?